the vision statement for 2020 is not, as you say, George Hanbury's vision, but it's a collective, single, shared vision. Can you talk about the importance of this single, shared vision to the community?
I feel no organization, either private, for-profit, private, not-for-profit, or public, can ever succeed in what they're undertaking to do unless there's a single shared vision throughout the organization that everyone understands where they are, where they're going, how are we going to get there, and what their role is or is not in accomplishing and fulfilling that mission. Toward that effort, I'm extremely pleased that really for the last 18 months, since the Board of Trustees announced that I would succeed Ray Ferrero Jr., to go around and talk to every faculty member, every employee, student leaders, and community members, well over 4,000 people, to share what originally started out as my vision. But during those 18 months, I've had input, I've had dialogue, I've had suggestions, I've had, if you can add this to the vision statement, it will be my vision statement, and it will be a shared vision statement. In every group, whether it was employee, faculty, or student, I asked the question when I left, can this be your vision statement? And I have been overwhelmed by the response, and that is, by 2020, through excellence in education, research, and learning, Nova Southeastern University will be recognized, that's the operative word, will be recognized by accrediting agencies, the academic community, our peers, and the general public as a premier, private, not-for-profit university that serves with distinction and engages its students and develops alumni that serve with integrity in their lives, in their fields of study, and resulting careers. That's not what originally my vision started out to be. But after talking to all those individuals that I just mentioned, that is now not only my vision, it's their vision. The trustees have shared that vision and have unanimously endorsed it. So it's not even their vision, it is NSU's vision. Everyone shares that vision now. And it is not only the vision that we will accomplish. Everyone that comes to this university, I want them to know what we stand for. So toward that effort, during the last 18 months, we've established core values that we feel are sacrosanct, that we will indeed accomplish and fulfill that vision to see the mission of this university undertaken and accomplished. But it will not be through expediency, and we will not compromise those values. And that includes the 8 core values: academic excellence, student-centered, integrity in everything we do, whether it's in the classroom or in the administration or in the student lives and the community we serve. The scholarship and research, diversity is something we're very proud of. We're a minority-majority university. Students are going to have to learn to live when they leave this university in a global economy that's made up of different lives of cultures, races, creeds, nationalities. We feel that this is an opportunity not only for them to learn in the classroom, but to learn how to be leaders in a global economy. Scholarship and research is essential, and giving back to a community. As a not-for-profit, we are not a for-profit business. Our margins are thin, but we do have a margin if we want to stay in business. So it is our effort that as a not-for-profit, we're actively engaged in the community for the common good. We will continue to be so, and we will expand on that.
Vision 2020 talks about cultivating donors and the need for scholarships and the unprecedented ways that you're going to encourage gifts from alumni. Can you tell me the importance of getting alumni to help in giving scholarships to Nova Southeastern University?
Well, what I tell all students, they ask, what's the value of this vision for them? I say the same thing to alumni. For this university to be recognized by 2020 in the vision statement that I mentioned, holding those values that I discussed as sacrosanct, it's important to every student and alumni that the value of their degree is expanded and the importance of their degree is recognized. Toward that effort is, as I stated earlier, I know of no more noble of an occupation or profession than to try to encourage and to give opportunity, which is one of our core values, for individuals who wish to pursue education, but yet don't necessarily have the funds to pursue that education. You know, I said when I became president that I would be more like my preacher, asking for individuals' time, their talent, and just as important, their gifts or their treasure. Treasure to individuals indeed is something that I will be asking the alumni to do. At the present time, because we're relatively young, we're only 47 years old now, and we didn't have the first class to graduate until 1970. There was 17 students, and that first graduating class of 1970, only 5 of the 17 initial students actually graduated. So 5 students graduated in 1970. This year at commencement, we awarded close to 8,000 degrees. So we've come a long way, but we've got a long way to go. Because we're relatively young, we've only had about 1% of 136,000 individuals who have received Nova Southeastern University degrees. That is not something to brag about. I feel we can increase that. Many universities have as much as 20, 30, 40, 60% of their alumni giving back in some scholarship form, whether it's athletics or scholarships. We have wonderful programs, as I mentioned, but yet in even the professional programs, 1 to 1.5% is the norm. So doing this next, hopefully, God willing, and the trustees continue to have confidence in me, by 2020, I want to see that percentage, not how much the alumni give, the percentage of alumni giving increased. I would love to see it close to 20%. Within the next 5 years, I'd like to see it up to 10%. In 3 years, I'd like to see it 5%. Now, each year we're graduating 8,000 more students, which means that it's going to be harder to get that percentage up. But even if the alumni give me no more than $1, I'm increasing the percentage.
What does focusing on the undergraduate area bring to the school?
Focusing on the undergraduate area really brings recognition. When you read the U.S. News and World Report annual college report that every president loves to hate, unless they're in the top 100, then they love it. It doesn't rank the medical schools or the law schools or the dental schools or the psychology schools or the optometry schools or the research you're doing in oceanography or marine biology or engineering. It talks about undergraduates. We want to be recognized not only for our great graduate programs, which represent a good almost 26,000 students. We also want to be recognized for the undergraduate program. toward that effort, targeting research to attract the best and the brightest undergraduates to come to this school, to enjoy the campus setting that we have with our 370 athletes, multiple programs, great campus life, beautiful dormitories that are state-of-the-art. All of our buildings are less than 15 years old or been kept, those that are older, kept up to date and brought up to date, and wireless, highest degree of technology. All that combined with an average temperature of 74 degrees, and you're 8 miles away from the gorgeous beachfront that we have here in Fort Lauderdale. Who would not want to come here, especially if you were in Minnesota, Michigan, Maine, New York, New Hampshire? Not only that, you get a quality education, beautiful surroundings, opportunity to go scuba diving and research, but as an undergraduate, there's no other school that I'm aware of that of the 135 academic programs that we have, we only have 46 undergraduate programs, which means that over 90 graduate and professional programs. There's no other school in the nation that offers their undergraduates an opportunity to have passionate curiosity of what they really wanted to do when they grow up, whether it's in communications and journalism, medicine, law, pharmacy, oceanography, psychology, you name it. No other school enables that student to continue to keep good grades, pursue their education, and what do they want to do? If it's 3 years, and the 4th year of their undergraduate program through the dual admission, go into the graduate or professional program, they saved a year, the private not-for-profit. With the good grades, we want to build scholarships. It's a wonderful opportunity. I want the rest of the world to know about that opportunity. And instead of 80% graduate and 20% undergraduate, I'd love to increase that up to 70% graduate and 30% undergraduate, building that critical mass so that we will have a large number of undergraduates living on campus and enjoying the benefits that this university can offer. For 30 years, we've been at the port, where over, imagine 12 million people go in and out on the largest cruise ships in the world. Fort Lauderdale and Hollywood and Port Everglades, that's located right there in between those two cities, has now surpassed Miami as the world's largest cruise port. For 30 years, all those ships have been going in and out in a little 2-story building that we've had down there, doing major research in marine biology and the preservation of coral reefs. We submitted through the stimulus package at the federal government office a request for a grant for $15 million. And to our great surprise, we won. We beat out every other major university who studies in an effort to try to save our seas and the coral reef. You know, this planet should really be called Planet Ocean. We're over 75% ocean and 25% land, yet we call it Planet Earth. So it's really Planet Ocean. How the coral reef plays in that whole ecosystem is extremely important. Over 50% of the coral reef of the world is being endangered. And yet it supports over 75% of the world in the ecosystem that it has. It's extremely important that as humans occupying that 25% and sometimes the other 75%, we need to see what we can do to save not only the ocean, but literally saving the planet. Because the Everglades Restoration Project is going to be coordinated on our main campus. So the whole ecosystem works as a system. You don't just do one thing. We are very proud to be the only center of excellence in the nation for coral reef. And that little two-story building now will no longer be not recognized by those 12 million passengers leaving and coming in out of the cruise ships, because instead of just being 2 stories, we will now have the equivalent of a 9-story building that will be a signature structure that will have Nova Southeastern University's recognition on that building. In addition to the coral reef study, there's another research facility that I hope we will build, and that's the Center for Collaborative Research. That Center for Collaborative Research will be on our main campus. It will house the United States Geological Survey to coordinate the Everglades project.
Are there new building plans that you can share with us that are in the works? We talked about the ones that we know about already, but are there plans that you have in mind that haven't been solidified, or other new works?
Well, in any organization, you do put together a 5-year business plan and capital improvement plan, of which we have done. As I mentioned, I'll probably go to the trustees in September for the collaborative research building through some creative financing, and hopefully that package will be sufficient for them to approve. Other than that, if we are indeed successful in attracting first-time in college students to come here and to experience a campus setting, then possibly 3 to 4 years, we will have to build more dormitory space. Building more dormitory space with more students on campus would probably also result in classroom space. And then with dormitory and classroom space, meaning more students, whether they are on campus or commuter students, we're going to need more parking garages. Parking is always a good problem to have. If you have no parking, then you're having a difficult problem financially. We are meeting our parking needs now, but I'm sure if we do expand first-time in college students, as we will be, living in the dorms, right now I think every student has at least 1 car. And that means 29,000 students come on this campus in one way or another. We have as much parking spaces as downtown Fort Lauderdale, but that still is demanding. So we will be building future parking garages. I would also like to see, before 2020 comes about, is the Academical Village, which is a for-profit, but it brings practice with the theory that the university offers. It will be a mixed-use project integrated into this campus of about 3 million square foot of research office, hotel conference center, residential, retail, hospital, and medical office building, all integrated into Nova Southeastern University. So I'd like to see either that begin or hopefully completed. It's a worthy project that would be major for this university and help to bring that recognition that I'm discussing.
Intercollegiate athletic programs are a growing attribute to Nova Southeastern University. You have the success of the rowing team. You have your girls golf champions that are three-peaters. There are about 370 student athletes here. Can you talk about the importance of these student athletes to Nova Southeastern University?
We have some wonderful sports programs here. We have 17 sports, 370 athletes, as you mentioned. Our grade point average for those 370 athletes is better than 3 point. The golf team that just won the 3rd national champion golf team for Division II, and regardless of any division, to the best of our knowledge, in any major sport, this is the first ever of 3 back-to-back national championships in any major sport. So we're very proud of that. Since we have a small undergraduate program, 80% of our students graduate and professional, we're in D2. We're probably the largest D2 school in the country with 29,000 students. But because we have such a small undergraduate program, and your athletic programs are geared predominantly to undergraduate students, we don't necessarily have as many students to attend athletic games and programs, of which I would like to see more. So toward that effort, we're going to be recruiting and emphasizing first time in college undergraduate students to come to these beautiful facilities and well-maintained surroundings and enjoy the academic setting that Nova Southeastern University can have. The lady who was a national golfer graduated with a 4-point average, and some of our athletes go on to our dual admission program in the health professions or law or oceanography. So we will be leveraging those renowned graduate and professional programs that we have to attract and continue to attract the best and brightest. But because we're Division II, a lot of people don't recognize us for the programs we have. D1 football sometimes and basketball attracts recognition to the school, and some people erroneously misinterpret that as the quality of the school. We like to think that, one, our quality is equal to or better than any other institution, but two, D2, Division II of the NCAA, emphasizes the word student athlete. And student indeed comes above the athlete. Even in D1 schools, less than 3% of those men and women who play in D1 go on to win the big bucks of national professional sports. We like to think we're preparing people for the rest of their lives to be leaders in whatever they undertake to do.
And I know when you were serving as city manager and assistant city manager, did you ever think in your wildest dreams that you'd become president of the 7th largest not-for-profit independent institution in the nation?
Well, I never thought of it in that fashion. I really believe that I owe whatever I've achieved to the inspiration that my mother gave me as a young boy. And as I said in my investiture, it was she who encouraged me to pursue education beyond high school and into college and to get my master's and eventually my Ph.D. Because it was she who said that education is the secret to freedom. Freedom gives you power to expand in whatever you wish to undertake to do. And the secret to that freedom is courage. So you combine courage with the desire to achieve educational pursuits. It gives you the freedom to undertake any path you wish to accomplish. You're not going down a road without some rudder. Without the rudder, without the freedom, without the educational pursuits, and without the courage to undertake that, then it's difficult to accomplish anything. But I felt that I always wanted to give back to the community. That's why I got into public service in the first place. I felt it was a noble occupation and a noble profession. However, being in the educational level and the academic community I've been in the last almost 14 years, teaching in the classroom because I do have the doctorate and I'm able to apply practice with the theory, which is what we've always professed here at Nova Southeastern. I try to encourage students to have that same philosophy that my mother instilled in me, because education indeed gives you the freedom. I encourage people to read, because those that don't read are no better off than those that can't read. And I think lifelong learning is essential. whatever age. So, did I expect I'd wind up being president? No. But I certainly had aspirations that I wanted to make a difference in the community, and I still do. I felt like I had the leadership capabilities in any organization to accomplish specific goals, missions, again, that my mother told me to do, and see it to fruition. Doing my investiture, I talked about some truisms that she mentioned, and my father. And one that I remember to this day is, when a job is first begun, see it through until it's done. Be the task both great or small, do it well, George, or not at all. So, that little truism has been with me in just about everything I've done in really the last 45 years. And it's the way I'm going to do things until I can't anymore.